What the heck do you do if you get in a car accident in Mexico? My co-host Ricardo Borges and I have Fernando from Pro Alliance Insurance with us today.
Okay, and what would be the requirements for your clients to get insurance down here in Mexico?
Well, the requirements is, of course, to have a driver license from United States or Canada, and sometimes it's the systems requires to have a insurance on your home country. Depends on the vehicle.
Okay.
If we ask for the year, the model, the make, the value to calculate this, how much it's gonna cost the premium per year, and they also ask you if I have insurance in your home country. If you don't, the premium may increase or be rejected. Sometimes they say no, I don't want to insure for full coverage, but they always will offer you the liability.
Difference between the policies issued here versus the policies issued in the US or Canada pertaining the country's law or something? What differ from car insurance policy here
Well,
versus US, for instance?
honestly, I don't sell insurance for the US. I never sell that, so I
Mm.
don't have much experience how it's worked there. I always the night.
Speaking it from someone who has insurance policies in both countries, it's pretty similar.
Are there any unique features or options in Mexican car insurance policies the clients should be aware of?
This is a very common question for people who make me a. Let's say you have a car, but you have a Mexican friend or relative or partner. They are not covered if they're driving your car, even if they have a driver license. But if they don't have a U.S. driver license, that's not covered on America on this kind of insurance that we have. It's only for a foreigners. Anybody over 21 year old will be covered, or under, if you specify when you issue the policy, will be covered, but not any local people or Mexican citizen with a Mexican driver license will not be covered.
What's the typical coverage that you guys contract with your clients? It's full coverage. What's the most sold policy that you guys issue?
Well, we got like 50-50 on full coverage on the driver license. A lot of people want the driver license only.
Because it's cheaper.
Because it's cheaper, because some of the insurance covers certain miles out of the border, and they say, well, I already have that, and I'm kind of in the boundary of my insurance, U.S. insurance cover me, but I want Mexican liability for
Mhm.
double protection. And it's not costly, and you can put up to 4 family members on the same policy. So that's one of the most typical.
I had a client that he bought insurance, I'm not sure where, and his truck got hit in the Malecon, and his insurance did not cover it because I think he didn't have collision, right?
Mhm. He
So,
didn't have collision.
well, I apparently not because his vehicle was not covered and he had to take it to the States. But I think, when you buy insurance online or just stop somewhere, it's really important to make sure that you ask for theft, liability, and collision. Otherwise, I don't think they always offer it, right?
That's interesting because if you are buying car insurance, you would think that collision is primarily number one aspect it'd be covered.
He told me he
Not
had the
everyone.
no.
A lot of the people ask just for the liability.
Uh, you might
Well,
not you might not know the answer to this question, but if I get my, some places in the States, they sell Mexican insurance. I think that's where you run into issues is they are not really familiar with the product that they're selling because he bought it somewhere in the States. And I don't think that they offered that he had collision in his insurance. He just had theft, I think.
Okay. And one of the things is that a lot of the places who sell insurance in the States for Mexico, like you say, they're not very aware of what they're selling, and they're not here either. They don't know how to deal with local authorities. They don't know the times, the procedures, which is a lot slower in the United States. Here, everything has to be paid by your own and then get reimbursed, and it can take a couple months. Mexican insurance does not rent you a car, and unfortunately, in this area of the country, we don't have any agreements with the tow trucks. If you require a towing, they'll send a tow truck from Hermosillo, will take 24 hours to arrive, and nobody want to wait that.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So-
speaking about dealing with authorities, what are the steps for someone that just got involved in a car accident to be taken immediately after?
Okay, as you know, 60% of the local auto doesn't have any kind of insurance
Wow.
or more. A lot of they don't. If you get in an accident, authorities always will try to get the fault who they make sure they have insurance.
So the insurance company
The
covers
insurance
it.
covers it, and they say we'll try to say it's your fault, even if it's not. But it's very important to remain calm, to let us know right away. You can call the 1-800 number of your policy. Sometimes the adjusters arrive within a minute. Sometimes they're not available, but at least they have the knowledge that you're being involved in
Car
a
accident.
car accident. They probably want to tow your truck, which is totally fine. They want to tow to the place, and then the adjuster will arrive. They will send an attorney to get your car out of the pound and deal with them.
I'm driving here from Phoenix. I got my Mexican insurance and I get in a car accident. What is the first thing I should do?
And it's very important to have your policy printed. A lot of people get it on your email or your phone and they say, oh, it's fine. I got it right here. I don't need to print it. But in the accident, your phone can broke, can lost, and it's important to have it on paper so you can call the 1-800 number that is on their policy. First, it's call 911 in case you need a medical assistance. Authorities arrive, start getting the report, and notify your insurance right away. And if you have my number or Rosie's number, it's even better that you can just give us a call and one of us can show up there, help you with translation, or call the adjusters to say, are you on the way yet? Sometimes they take little more time. And we start doing some of the advance of their labor while they're arriving.
What about ambulances and that kind of help? Who calls them? Who can?
It's you need to call them. You call them right away. Authorities or yourself can call in and require it. Probably depends of the company that arrive. If it's a private ambulance, you may have to pay for it at the moment, but get receipts and then you will get reimbursed on the future when everything's settled up on the claim.
Oh, so your ambulance is covered under your insurance?
Yes, medical evacuation to the border if it's required as well. If you need a medical assistant here, can be treated here, if it's local hospital or clinic can attend it, but probably you'll need to move to Hermosillo or Mexicali, or even if you say, no, I don't want to go back to Phoenix or Tucson, it's covered to the border. From the border to there, it's a different story.
Let's say for a second that the thing got a little bit hot, after the accident between both sides. Are the clients insured provided with an attorney, to go and just be not only defended but protected before the authorities immediately after? Or do they have to immediately call their attorneys? Or
Well, not sometimes it's not. Most of the cases it's not even necessary to call the attorneys. Once the adjuster arrives and sees reports, sometimes he can say, "Yeah, it's your fault or your fault." It's in the report, and or even if it's not, you say, okay, that's fine. We're gonna get out of the trouble. We will respond. This signature, we'll sign everything, and after they send the lawyers to straighten things out.
But the company also provide that kind of
Yes,
assistance.
yeah, it's go up to the limit of the liability, which is can be $500,000 on legal assistance, which is $500,000.
Okay.
Yeah, the amount of the liability covers the damages that you may cause to the others, the medical expenses for the other party, and your legal assistance to get you out of the trouble and set it up everything.
If someone hits me and they are not insured, is there an insurance issue in Mexico that I could carry that would cover me?
Yeah.
You kind of covered that earlier.
Yeah, full coverage or even standard coverage will cover you for that. Even the full coverage will not charge you for deductibles.
So
That's
what happens
great.
to the guy, what happens to the guy that's not insured? What happens to his car?
If someone is in,
So your company covered the damages and everything for the other guy that was not insured. So what happened to the other?
Oh, well, if it's the other guy fault, will
Uh-huh.
not pay for his, will pay for you and go after his.
So what happens to his car if it's smashed and he doesn't have any insurance?
The car will be retained by the authority.
Oh, okay. Is it a
Go ahead.
criminal offense not to have insurance in the country? Is it
Well,
a legal issue?
even there is a law that it's required, that is mandatory to everyone have insurance, is not enforced. Nobody gets tickets to not having insurance.
So if you
Yeah, that's
don't
true.
have insurance and you get in an accident and maybe you smash someone else's car, can you go to jail?
Correct. Or
Really?
pay out of your pocket all the expenses.
Yeah. You're gonna face a lot of trouble, believe me.
What if,
And it's very often happen very
what if you get in a car accident and you hit someone and they are injured and you don't have insurance? Then what happens?
That's even worse.
Well, it's also it depends also on the criteria of the people. Sometimes they can give you
Pardon?
a pardon, and they say, okay, I have my insurance covered, and I'll let you go. Or you can be charged for the stuff, and you don't have anything to pay for it. They can sue you, and it will be forever, and probably get nothing out of you.
So if the person doesn't have insurance and he hits someone and they're paralyzed or whatever, can they sue that person in like through Mexico?
That's a crime to start with, because all those damages that last more than 15 days to heal, makes that not just a simple felony. You go directly to jail, so you would be facing jail time, plus you'd be liable for all the damages and costs created to that person. Yep. It may become a huge nightmare, because you would be not only paying for hospital and that kind of damages, but if that person has a job and that person is not able to go to work because of what you did, then you're also liable for that. It's just a snowball, it doesn't end.
What if
Yeah,
they?
it's
What if that person goes back to the States and doesn't come back to Mexico anymore? Is there any kind of legal thing that you can find him in the States and still serve him?
That is technically possible, yet not typically enforced. It probably will cost that person more to enforce it than try to seek any assistance by itself. But the technical answer is yes, that could be possible. If you get involved in a car accident, does this company of yours provide you with rental car assistance, or you're out of your own?
Generate your own. Any Mexican insurance company will not provide you with a rental car like in the States. In the States, you have an accident, they rent you a car for 30 days that they have the time to give you an answer. If they're gonna repair your car or if they're gonna pay for the salvage. Uh, but in this case of Mexico, they don't. They just, you're on your own for the period that your car is not working.
Is there any laws in Mexico for like drunk drivers? You know, like in the States, you don't get to have insurance, and so if you're a drunk driver and you hit someone, does that nullify your insurance?
Your policy is void right away.
It is.
Yeah, it not, does not cover you at all if you're drunk. If it's like you don't have insurance. Insurance
Wow,
will say, "Oh, you were drunk. I don't cover you anything at all." They just walk away.
I don't think a lot of people know that. That's a game changer for people this weekend.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very interesting.
You
Can
better get that one under insurance in US.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, in the States, it doesn't cover you either. But I mean, I didn't realize that it didn't cover you. Your policy would be void in Mexico.
Does it cover up in the US that kind of situation? If you're drunk, it
No.
will cover?
No, it won't. Will not.
No, I didn't think so.
No.
To my knowledge, it's the same thing. Your policy is void.
Mhm.
So
That's not even mention it on the policies because it's so obvious that drunk people or any other um, drugs or anything that's not gonna be covered.
if your car gets stolen, what should you do?
Well, call police right away and make the report right away to see if sometimes they find it really quick. And if they don't, it will take about 3 months or more to get reimbursed your vehicle.
And what's the percentage of the value that you get?
Okay, they
Reimbursed.
always will pay whatever the blue book says on good condition, no matter if it's a brand new vehicle. They will go whatever it says good condition. They don't care about the mileage and the conditions. They use whatever it says. That's the average that they paid. And there is a deductible of $500 for partial losses for accidents, and there is $1,000 for a
Total loss.
for total loss, and $2,000 deductible for ATVs. And
And-
ATV also, it's have to be on the accident or have to be on a legal street. Does not cover you on mountains or desert.
You
Say that-
cannot be covered if you are using your ATV out of the dirt or the mountains, or you would have to be driving on paved streets.
No, not paved street, legal street.
Oh.
It can be their road, but it has to be actual a road, not off road.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So can you get additional insurance for off-road?
Now that I know
Really?
what we do, we move it to road to make the claim. We done it.
What about jet
I did
skis?
not know.
I'm sorry.
What about jet skis? Jet skis?
No, not we don't insure jet skis.
They're
We
not
do
insured.
boats. We do boats, but we do for liability.
Okay.
Yeah, and the boats are way different. They ask you how speed they can go, how many people, what kind of boat, and if it's legally entering into Mexico, if it has, because sometimes they just cross the border and they don't have any kind of permit. They have to have the permit for the harbor, the
Mhm.
port, but sure, you can be insured for liability only.
What if your boat burns down? Burns.
We don't have full coverage for boats.
Any specific challenges or consideration for high-end vehicles, luxury vehicles?
Yes, some of the vehicles, even if they're under the system, when we enter to cover, I don't know how the algorithm of the system work, but sometimes they just cover for liability only. Sometimes they cover for full coverage. Sometimes they reject it. And one of the challenges are the RVs, the motorhomes, which is some of them are $250,000, and it will be costly for people to insure, and especially they just drive it and park it. And most people just buy the day in and the day out because
Yeah.
the moment that it's parked on the RV park, it's not covered because it's not moving in a road. It's just standing there like a home. So I've been dealing with. I've personally been looking for a lot of time a product that will cover those as a home or less of what it work for RVs because they're very expensive.
Well, yeah, because
And a lot of people have the RVs or the motorhome stationary. They don't move it anymore. They're even built around bricks, and they want to insure it like a home, which is homeowner policies is a lot less costly, and it's not possible. They just find out a couple years ago that they don't want to insure it
Well, it
anymore.
makes sense. At a certain point, you just change mind. You put some wheels on it, you move it.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. RVs, the motorhome, it's one of the things that is been having hard, and also especially in Mexico, that if you don't have cover in the United States and something happened here, there is no body shops here to fix that kind of vehicles. There is no dealers that it can provide you
Service.
service. There is no tow truck very often that it can move around that kind of stuff. So that the RVs is one of the things that probably insurance will pay more attention because there is a lot of market on it that will make a lot of better money if they get with new products for them.
Is this 1-800 number or whatever number you have on the policy, is it as good enough as, someone picking up at any minute of the day?
Yeah, 24/7 English speakers, and they speak English very well. 50% of the claims don't call them, they call us and they ask us to call them, which is fine. But sometimes I tell them, don't wait till probably I won't pick the phone or Rosie it's doing something. You can try the 1-800 number right away and I get a claim number and then provide me that claim number and then I can call them and I follow up your process. Sometimes people think that it's in the state that you just can switch numbers and insurance number and move away. No, here you have to have a police report on the moment that it happened in order to can make valid your claim.
Why don't you guide us through that process? Let's say that there's right now a car accident.
Call 911, call the 1-800 number on your policy, and if it's
Don't
possible,
go. Just
don't
stay.
go. You don't go. Even if it's a small scratch, if you consider that it's sometimes you let it go because your deductible will be higher. That's what it is here. Here you can repair a car for a lot less than the States, and you say, okay, I let it go. But if it's worth to make the claim, call authorities to make the report and have who has the fault, who's paying who, or nobody's fault. And after that, or right at the same time, call the 1-800 number so they can aware if you have an accident and that they can send you an adjuster. Or if they don't they already know that you're in an accident, that they will be asking for papers that the authority give you, or receipts, or the tow truck, whatever they charge you. And if it's possible that you can call us, you can call me or call Rosie or anyone, and if we can be there so you can see. Sometimes a friendly face that it's along with you will help you a lot. In the moral, you just there and you feel like you're with something backing up you while the lawyer or anybody else up here.
And who determines whose fault is?
Police.
Police? They're going to bring inspectors or specialists?
Well, if the first thing the police does when you're involved in an accident, they ask you, whose fault? If you can say me, okay, that's it. They don't go further. But if you're not agree and the other parties not agree, they will determine on the marks on the streets, on the position of the car, on the speed, or whatever it's when happen, and they will be determine whose fault it is.
Testimonies,
Yes.
or cameras, or
If not, they will say okay, and if nobody agree with it, they will take it to
the prosecutor's
the
office.
prosecutor office so they can determine. They can take weeks or months to clear that. So that's why it's very important when you have insurance and you don't have to worry about it. You just call them, your attorney and insurance will take care about everything. You just walk out and you need to go back to Phoenix or Tucson. You just go and they continue with the whole process here. Probably they will start repairing your car or paying for your expenses while they're still dealing with authorities here.
Well, it's something that we don't really want to happen to us, but it's important to know what to do when if it ever does happen to you. So, Fernando, thank you so much for joining us tonight and answering all our questions. I will post your company information on the Facebook page. And as well, if anyone wants a recording, just please reach out to us and I'll send it to you.
Thank you, Fernando.
Thank you.
We're in here.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for everybody that was waiting in line today. I hope you're having a nice margarita right now because you deserve it.
Everybody have a good night.